So we were able to make predictions of velocity at any point in time, and really it's quite easy because the acceleration is constant. But to find the location of an object, it's a little challenging. Finding the location during acceleration can be difficult because objects are changing their speed, so it's not quite as easy as predicting velocity. But we can use the equations that we were already familiar with in order to come up with a new equation or a new series of equations, and these are called the how far equations, and these give us displacement while an object's accelerating. Let's start off with some things that we already know about. The average speed of an object, or V average, is the final speed plus the initial speed divided by 2. So this is the middle speed an object has while it's accelerating. We also know that average speed is equivalent to the displacement per unit time. So if you look at these equations, there are a couple of things that are in common. Average speed is equivalent to this in the red, and the average speed is equivalent to this. So if these are equivalent, the average speeds, that means these two are equivalent. So we can set the delta x. Let's just circle this in a different color. Over t, that is the average speed, equal to, let's use another color, the average speed, which is there. And this is pretty nifty. We now have an equation that we can use in order to predict the displacement based on knowing the final speed, the initial speed, and time. Fantastic. This is another equation that's going to be very useful. Let's move on. Now the question is, we could figure out average velocity, and we can figure out displacement as time goes on. Let's show some examples. You start from rest and you accelerate to 20 meters per second in 4 seconds. What is your average velocity? The average velocity, as previously stated, is simply the middle velocity. Let's think about this. If I'm resting, my velocity is 0, and I end up at 20. It takes me 4 seconds. But what is the middle velocity? If I go from 0 meters per second to, that's the starting speed, to some final speed of 20 meters per second, that middle speed, halfway between the two, is obviously going to be positive 10 meters per second. So if you think about this, you can just take the middle value. Another way to do this is to apply an equation, or the equation for average speed. It's v plus v naught divided by 2, and the final speed is 20 meters per second, plus the starting speed is 0 meters per second divided by 2. 20 plus 0 divided by 2 is positive. Oops, let's erase. Got ahead of ourselves. The answer is, let's just pull out the tab. I think we have it. Positive 10 meters per second.